Hi, I'm John. This is my show, A Sports Reckoning. So I just watched Geoff Wilson's video of him in the warehouse at Goldin auctions, okay? And I keep telling people, like in the sports card community, that Michael Jackson is smack dab in the middle of this community and stuff, right? And there's a lot of collectibles of his that are out there that are tremendously undervalued because people don't know the real story about Michael Jackson actually being the love child of Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson. Then my story clarifies any misunderstanding that's ever been out there about Michael Jackson. My story clarifies it. Not only does it clarify it, because of my story now, it has enabled me to actually explain some of Michael Jackson's biggest songs, like Billie Jean. I have named Billie Jean as Diana Ross, is that the song is actually the explaining of, from Michael Jackson, the explaining of when Diana Ross informed Michael Jackson that she was his real mother when he was like 10, 11 years old, and he's living in her house. That's what the song Billie Jean's actually about. Michael's the kid in the song. You know, people just, it's like my story's massive and stuff, right? But so, people, like, I'm not getting respect in the sports car community, and people wonder why I yell at them and stuff. It's like, dude, because you people are fake. You people have to wait for something to break on the news before you can understand what important is. You have to wait until somebody else tells you that it deserves to be talked about before you can talk about it. Okay, well, if you're that, you're just like fucking slaves, total loser followers. You don't have the actual collector's inside the instinct to understand what something is that is collectible and why it's collectible. Who is this important to? You guys don't have any of that. And that's when I was like, I'm in this collectibles community and stuff, and you people are not real collectors. That's what I feel like. I come in and it's all, you're just a bunch of flippers. And I'm not, just so you know, I'm not trying to put down somebody like Flippin' Steve because he has that name, Flipping Steve, right? Okay? So if I'm insulting flippers, I'm not personally like insulting Flipping Steve because I actually have a lot of respect for the style of collecting of what Flipping Steve does. I don't have anything against it. I don't mind people selling cards and stuff like that because he uses that to build his own collection. Okay? So it's like, okay, if you're selling cards but you're using it to create better cards for yourself and you're building your own collection, well, then you're a collector and shit, right? So I'm not against flippers and shit, right? I just had to clarify that because I feel like I've been kind of attacking Flippin' Steve, so I want you to make it understand I'm not attacking Flippin' Steve and shit, right? So here we go. I'm going to show you this. We're going to come. It's going to show real quick. I just had to show you so you know that this is the video we're talking about.
Giant sneakers. Geoff, this was absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for this awesome behind the scenes tour.
There, I had to be quick on it and stuff, right? Okay, so now that's it's signed by Michael Jackson. I know Michael Jackson's signature, you know, so it's not like it's signed by all the Jackson 5 on that album, but that's a really cool collectible. Okay, so it's something in the Goldin auction in the warehouse, and also it was shown on the sports card investor Geoff Wilson's video. It's something that got highlighted, right? So I don't know. It's like one of these things that's like, it's the kind of shit that pisses me off. It's like, does he know that I'm out here talking about Michael Jackson, and is that why he inserted it into the video? Or is this just completely random? Because it's one of those things, it's like, well, Michael Jackson is big. He exists on his own. They don't need me to be talking about him in order for somebody like Geoff Wilson to highlight him as an important something in the collector's community, right? It's one of these things, it's like, dude, do you people even know what I'm saying about Michael Jackson, or is this just totally random? This is kind of shit that kind of bugs me, that I have to deal with, because Michael Jackson's so popular. I hear they're talking about him a lot, about Michael Jackson right now. He's on the news and stuff. I hear, like, when I look at the Yahoo news page and stuff, there's Michael Jackson's name's coming up over and over and over, and then you got Diana Ross's name coming up, and Smokey, it's like the combination of them, it's like they're always in my face, and it bugs me to have to deal with this stuff, and people don't understand that even just these little things like that, you don't understand what I have to deal with. All right, it's freaking tough and shit, right? So, but let me show you other stuff. Let me show you things that's like, like I said, there's more to this stuff than you people even understand of what I have to deal with. So, also in this video, here's another thing. Now watch this part. Let me show you.
Wow, so that's when he made the All-America team that year. It's amazing the growth of just like even non-sports, right? So like, for example, you know, oh wow, something like this. Charlie Chaplin.
Okay, so it's amazing of even the non-sport stuff, like something like Charlie Chaplin. Okay, so Charlie Chaplin and my Michael Jackson story, it happens to be a really big thing because Michael Jackson actually said his favorite song is Smile, which is a song that was, I have to say created by Charlie Chaplin because he didn't write the lyrics for it. The lyrics came later. They were added later. But the original music, because those silent films, a lot of people don't understand. It's like when you haven't watched silent films, they're filled with music, right? So Charlie Chaplin wrote a song that is known as Smile, but the lyrics came later, so there is a little thing about an understanding of that song that you need to understand. There's like technical shit, right? Okay, but now let me show you. Okay, now this is one of my videos, right? This is a video I have. It's called Michael Jackson and Charlie Chaplin, I Found the Kid. This is my video. What's happening is, what you're looking at is the album cover of a Michael Jackson single, Michael Jackson Smile. See, it says right there? So that's the album cover, okay? So on the album cover for that Smile, this is the photo of which Michael Jackson recreated. So I knew that because he was recreating that photo and he was linking it to this song Smile, I knew, because I know of how Michael Jackson does things and how he tells his story, that he was leaving behind these clues, and I've been researching and investigating it and stuff, right? And there's a lot more to this stuff too, like I just show you, but it's a thing that my personal theory of what occurred is that Diana Ross was a fan of Charlie Chaplin, because it's one of the first specials of where Michael Jackson appeared on television. And on this Diana Ross special, Diana Ross is dressed up like Charlie Chaplin. She does a Charlie Chaplin skit. So I know that she has an interest in Charlie Chaplin. And so what I think that occurred and why this Charlie Chaplin is so important to Michael Jackson is I think that Diana Ross, now here, let me play this actually just to show you. So this is the photo that Michael Jackson recreated. Now watch this.
Okay.
Okay, so now here, that's the actual movie poster. Okay, it's Charlie Chaplin. It's a movie called The Kid. That's why I named this video. I said I found the kid because I didn't know. I have to do this investigation of what I've been doing. So I had to go look for that photo, and I found the photo. I found out what it is. It's actually a movie called The Kid, okay? So the movie ends up being about a single mother who abandons her child, and then that mother becomes some kind of big celebrity in the entertainment field, and then she gets into doing charity work. Through charity work, she goes back into like the ghettos and stuff, and she finds her kid. And then she gets reunited and she gets the kid back. Okay, so what I think that happened is that Diana Ross used this movie, and I think this is why the Charlie Chaplin thing is such a big part of the Michael Jackson story. I think that Diana Ross, when, like I said, the Billie Jean stuff, that Michael was living in Diana Ross's house, and Michael says in his book, which is these things that people just like, I show them and they never give me any comment. They don't care. They don't act like they won't deal with it. They just put their head in the sand. It's crazy. Michael Jackson in his book said that Diana Ross would take him out over a period of 1.5 years alone, that they would go out almost every day alone, and she would teach him in things like art and stuff like that. That's what he says in his book. So it's one of those things like, why is that occurring? Not only is why it's occurring, why are the Jacksons allowing that to occur? It's a big part when you just, it's like that little part, it's like he's living in her house and she's taking him out over a period of 1.5 years almost every day. What the hell is going on that, and why are the Jacksons allowing that to occur? That's what I'm saying, is like, I actually have evidence backing up my story. There's this weird chain of events of things that occurred that it's like, when you actually just understand the true story of what happened, now it explains everything. But people, I show them evidence after evidence and after evidence, and they just never deal with it. They just go back to saying their own stupid shit that no, I believed that Michael was a Jackson for all those years, and there's nothing that you can do that will ever change my mind. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? How do I deal with those kind of people? It's ridiculous. Deal with some evidence. Just give me the little bit of credit to understand. It's like, look I am showing evidence. I'm showing the chain of events that occurred over a long period of time, and things that are weird that don't really fit. When you actually look at them and analyze them, they don't fit. But when you insert my story, now it's like explaining stuff on a major level, right? So what I actually think to happen is that at that period of time where Diana Ross is taking Michael Jackson out, I think Diana Ross took Michael to see this movie. I think she took him to see this movie. That's why Michael inserted that photo on the picture of Smile. That he inserted this photo because he wanted to link it up specifically with this movie, because I think that this is the movie that Diana Ross took Michael Jackson to show him that, look at these kind of weird occurrences, this story of what actually happened to her, that she abandoned her child and then she became a star and then came back into the child's life. I think that Diana then showed Michael, look at, this is a common story that has existed for a long period of time. And it's one of those things that's like God works in mysterious ways. This is what she was showing him. And that's why Michael is so fond of Charlie Chaplin, and he has that song Smile that he highlights. But on the song Smile, the way he highlights it is with this photo of that kid. See, that's the photo that he highlights. He highlights them. He doesn't highlight like a Charlie Chaplin. He recreates Charlie Chaplin in that specific movie, of that movie, The Kid, of which I say when you watch that movie, it's about a mother walking out of the hospital alone, and she abandons her child. And then she becomes a big star. And then she comes back across the kid doing charity work, and then she reunites with the kid and she gets the kid back. Okay? That's the movie right there that Michael's recreating in that photo of the Charlie Chaplin. So not only in the Goldin warehouse did he have the autographed photo of Michael Jackson, he also had an autographed picture of Charlie Chaplin. That's what I'm saying. This story is bigger in a way that you people don't see it. You're not having to deal with what I'm dealing with. You don't have the understanding of what I have and stuff, right? And so then that's the other part. Okay, that photo right there, this is the other part of what I say. I say, you people don't understand the stuff that's out there, that it's the stuff that's really... Now look at, that's a signed autographed photo of Michael Jackson signing that. Okay, that's cool. I like it. And on that, personally, I'd probably rather have the entire Jackson family. I'd rather have all of them signature, but the primary one is the Michael Jackson, so it's super cool just with the Michael, you know? But you'd probably want the rest of them. But what you really want is something like this. This is the kind of stuff that's out there that people don't understand the true value of what it. Now this thing right here, the guy wants 10 grand for it. So I'm not going to say it's cheap right now. It's not cheap. But what is the true value of something like this? So this is a crew pass from the USA for Africa, the We Are the World. That's like a once in a lifetime event. Right? That's super rare. But, so this is a crew pass. How many of these can exist? And then how many of those can exist that's signed by Diana Ross and Michael Jackson? Okay? It's not the Jackson 5 signatures that are important. The important signatures to get on a dual auto type of thing, the ones that are really rare, the ones that are going to be significant in history, is the combination of having Diana Ross and Michael Jackson, or Smokey Robinson. If you can get a Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson, or Smokey Robinson and Michael Jackson, or if you can hit the jackpot and you get all three of them, which I've shown before, is that the We Are the World event, they signed for charity, they signed 100 posters, which is, not all of them is signed by all of the people, but most of them, they have a lot of the signatures, but there are some of them out there that exist that have all three of the signatures of Diana, Michael, and Smokey Robinson. So right there, those posters that exist that are out there, that's the kind of thing that you might find at a Goldin auction. Like if they come across them, but once my story breaks and we find out the true understanding that Michael's real parents are Diana, it's not like these are just random people. Michael's real parents are massive stars, Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson, and Michael's the biggest star in the world. When people find out the real story of what he actually had to deal with, and think about it, he lived his whole life. Think about this also. Who's the first person dead out of like Diana Ross, Smokey Robinson, Berry Gordy, the entire Jackson family? Who was the first one to die out of all of them? Michael. And how does he die? With a severe drug addiction. And a guy that's supposed to be so caring in the way of his personality, he's such a caring person, but how does he die? Alone with a freaking doctor feeding drugs into him because he's got this horrible drug addiction. What kind of pain actually did this guy have that he was dealing with? Well, the pain of being abandoned as a child, having to find out that he was not a Jackson by Diana Ross, then Diana Ross embraced him but rejected him, never actually brought him in to actually, she never told the world the true story. So Michael had to go through his whole life then knowing the truth that he was not a real Jackson. So everything he had to do with the Jackson family, there had to be some pain. He didn't get the proper joy of what he normally would have got, which leaves him isolated, like living in Neverland Ranch, acting like he's Peter Pan. Who's Peter Pan? He's the leader of the Lost Boys, a bunch of orphan children. This is the story of what's going on. The whole thing, like the Neverland Ranch. When you watch the story of the Neverland Ranch is that Michael was working on with the Paul McCartney on the Say, Say, Say video, right? And that piece of property is the piece of property that Michael Jackson bought and turned into the Neverland Ranch. And then in the video, it says orphanage. When Michael's going, it says orphanage in the video. That's just one of those weird things that's like, in the video it says orphanage. That's the piece of property that he buys and turns into the Neverland Ranch. It's like you can see the inspiration, what inspired him and stuff to do those kind of things. But this is the kind of stuff that's like, I'm saying is like, look, this is for sale right now. Anybody could go buy this. This thing has got to be drastically undervalued. Even at $10,000, it's expensive. I'm not saying it's cheap. That's expensive item and stuff, right? But what's the true value of that? How rare must that thing be? Because, like I said, it's hard to find dual signatures. You can go find a bunch of fake reprint pictures of these kind of dual signatures and stuff, but to find, this is the only one I've seen since I've been looking. I haven't found an authentic like thing signed by Michael and Diana and stuff. This one's signed by Diana and Michael, and Diana is the one that's the bigger one because she was the one that was right there with Michael. They did the movie The Wiz together. They did a lot together. It says Diana Ross presents the Jackson 5. Diana Ross is in Michael Jackson's will. So Diana's actually the bigger person. It would be better to have Diana and Michael than to have Michael and Smokey, okay? Like, just so you know, like, who actually is going to hold the more value and stuff, right? And Diana's got this other thing. She's huge, iconic in her own way, too. But, yeah, so the Diana and Michael, that's the big one. Those, if you can find stuff that's got dual autos of Michael and Diana, it's huge. That's a historical piece right there. It's very, very valuable. And you just saw Geoff Wilson in the fucking Goldin auction warehouse showing you a Michael Jackson piece to show you the relevancy of this guy. He's famous in a way that it crosses over. And then who did they show you when they showed you the other crossover? They showed you Charlie Chaplin. And what do I come and show you? That Charlie Chaplin is a major integral part of the Michael Jackson story. And through my explaining of it, like I said, I think that Diana used that movie, The Kid. That's why that's the picture on the album with Smile that Michael Jackson did the Smile song, which Michael Jackson says was his favorite song, was that song Smile. Because it reminds him of the Charlie Chaplin. It must have something to do with that. That's the bigger understanding that nobody understands. Can understand why is Smile such his favorite song? Well, that's because Diana took Michael Jackson to go see the movie The Kid, the Charlie Chaplin, and she used that movie to explain to Michael what had happened to her, and that's why Michael had this fondness for Charlie Chaplin. Like, my story, my explanation, because the story of the discovery of what I made, I explain things on a much deeper level. And it's just like, I'm freaking pissed at the the Michael Jackson community wanted nothing to do with this story. Can you believe that? They yell at me. They all block me. The same thing of what I get in here. I come in here, I want to have conversations. They say, we don't want to talk about that. It's like, dude, you guys don't get to control the fucking conversation. Either you're actually real, genuine people who understand what collectibles are and how this stuff affects people, what it means, what it represents. Either you understand it and you appreciate it, or you don't. And if you don't, then I'm going to start screaming at you and call you fake, and I'm going to start exposing all your fucking fake fraud tendencies of what I fucking have to see and deal with.